This is Sasayama, a smaller town about 1 hour north of Osaka that is off the beaten path but definitely worth checking out. We'll visit Sasayama Castle Park, the Inari Shrine, the Merchant Street, and the Museum of Ceramic Art, as well as a visit to Maruyama Village, a hidden gem unlike any other in Japan. Well, we're now in the Kawaramachi Street. It's the Merchant Street district of Sasayama, and as you can see, it's not crowded. It has all the charm that you would have in Kyoto and elsewhere, but without the crowds. If you notice, all the buildings there are whitewashed. These are old warehouse type construction designed to be better for fire prevention. It's a fascinating place full of shops, restaurants, and unique inns where you could stay overnight. The Merchant Street area has the look and feel of places in Kyoto, but of course without the crowds, making for an enjoyable experience. Wander in and out of the shops and drop into the Tamba Pottery Museum or the No Theater Museum when in town. I'm standing here on the steps of the Inari Shrine in Sasayama. If it looks familiar, it's somewhat similar to the Inari Shrine in Kyoto, the one that is world famous you see in all the travel blogs and that sort of thing. But if you notice one thing here, there are no people. Now, it's not nearly as impressive and extensive as what you'd find in Kyoto. However, if you want to have the similar feel without all the crowds and tourists, this is a wonderful place to come. Visit the Inari Shrine in Kyoto and you'll understand what I mean when I say coming to Sasayama is a much more pleasant experience. The crowds in Kyoto can be overwhelming. The walk up to the Sasayama Shrine is a pleasant one and offers outstanding views of the town below. It's a quiet setting away from the crowds that you're sure to enjoy. Now we're in Sasayama, about an hour northwest of Osaka, at the grounds of the Sasayama Castle. And what's a little different about this one is there's no castle keep or tower like you find in most castles. That was never built, and what was built here was dismantled many years ago, as this castle was somewhat seen as a threat to Osaka Castle. But what they did years ago is they rebuilt the palace residence over here, which is a great thing to go tour and experience. The grounds of the castle are impressive, with its water-filled moat and massive stone walls overlooking the city. Inside the palace, you can see exquisite craftsmanship, and within the various rooms, you can get up close to reproduction suits of samurai armor. And if you're lucky, you might just stumble upon a crazy cat person for a photo op. The Tamba Sasayama area is known for its pottery. Something that sets this area apart from others is the climbing kilns. These date back hundreds of years and are very rare in Japan. They only fire them once or twice a year, but they are long earthen brick kilns that climb the hillside stretching hundreds of feet. Unfired clay is put into the kilns at various locations, and the fires started at the bottom with the heat climbing up the hill. This one is located about 40 minutes south of Sasayama by car. Across the way, you'll find the Museum of Ceramic Art. This is a world-class museum of ceramics and glassworks. Hard to imagine in such a rural area that you'll find such a high-quality museum. It regularly hosts rotating exhibits such as this one featuring Scandinavian glass art and its history. There are 3 levels to explore, and it's well worth the drive if you enjoy this type of skilled craftsmanship. Okay, honey, where are we?
We're at 2nd Street.
And what is so special about 2nd Street?
Because it's like a thrift store, secondhand clothing and household items. And
it's our first stop in Sasayama.
It's our first stop in Sasayama.
Got to take care of good things first, yes, right? Shopping is most important.
We have 30 minutes till our reservation.
Till lunch, okay, so we'll enjoy.
So we're going to go shopping. Yay. At a secondhand store.
Excellent. When in these smaller towns, we encourage visitors to get a behind-the-scenes idea as to the daily life for the locals. One of our favorite things is to visit the stores, the local shop, and avoid the touristy places. And one of Josephine's favorites is 2nd Street. To call this a thrift store doesn't do it justice. Here you'll find top quality and top condition clothing and household items, including some high-end names, all at deep discounts. It's fun to wander through the aisles, finding all kinds of bargains, and every time we stop, Josephine always ends up with something new for her. While you're here, click the subscribe and like buttons. This encourages us to make additional videos like this, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. We arrived in Sasayama about an hour northwest of Osaka and had reservations at this restaurant, Yamayu, and it was delightful.
Absolutely, the interior is impeccable. The food dishes were traditional Japanese, but not raw kind of food at all. It's cooked beef, chicken, had Wagyu beef. The vegetables were all produced locally, served on individual plates. There were probably 5 or 6 courses, finished off with a strawberry custard dessert. It was just outstanding, just a pleasant time for a lunch.
Perhaps the most special hidden gem of the entire area is Maruyama Village. It is so special to us that we are hesitant to make it public. We'll highlight a few things in this video as we plan a full-length video to come later. Maruyama Village is tucked away in a narrow valley about 3 miles from town and is several hundred years old. It was a dying village with most of the residents having moved away in the late 1990s, but those that remained banded together and converted 2 buildings into guest houses and opened up 2 new restaurants. They marketed it as a vacation stay for families, and trust me when I say, in all of our travels throughout Japan, we've never experienced anything like it. We've stayed here more than once and feel as though we are among family each time. The house in which we stay is enormous, featuring 3 bedrooms, multiple tatami rooms, living room, kitchen, and 2 full baths. All of this is in a 160-year-old Edo period house that is authentic as can be. It is simply incredible. The ladies of the village actually prepare the breakfast items, which are delivered and set out by the host, Chidori-san, who has become a very dear friend. In the guest books and according to Chidori-san, we are among the very few Western visitors to have stayed here. Therefore, you may be the only one from your country to visit. And be sure to subscribe to our channel so you'll know when we upload the full video on Maruyama Village.
Okay, here is one lesson for you. When you're on a train platform, it's a good idea not to open your wallet because you might happen to have a receipt in there and it suddenly floats off and does that. So, as Josephine has told me, from here on, we will never open our wallets on the train platform because we don't have an idea what that receipt is referencing, but can't do anything about it. We're not about to jump down there and grab it.
Since you watched this video, be sure to look for our video on Kanazawa. We explore the back alleys of the geisha and samurai districts, along with the most unconventional castle in Japan. You'll love it. Until next time, sayonara.